All right. I need you to hear this. Um, I'm not going to say this is for everyone, but some of you are being thought about in a way that's different than usual. Not just I miss you different, not just I wonder how they're doing different, but I need to totally shake up my world different. Um, just hold on. If you're watching this and you've been feeling like someone's been uncharacteristically silent, distanced, for whatever reason, even acting a little odd, this might explain why. Because some people get quiet when they're making a big decision, when they realize something that terrifies them, when they stand back and look at their entire life and think, I have to change everything to have this work. Let's slow down here. Because I can tell this time feels intense, like really intense. Some people notice just before a big life change, there's this odd waiting period. It can seem like they're distant, being vague, not showing up like they used to. And you're left wondering, did I mess up? Are they over me? But what if they're actually doing the opposite? What if they're pulling back because they're aware of how intensely they love you? And it's gotta make them look at everything they've been avoiding. One reasoning here is that this individual is having a reckoning, not with you, but with themselves. Um, you might recognize this if you've noticed someone being more mindful, more serious, as if they have the weight of the world on their shoulders. It can feel like sitting across from them at the restaurant or messaging them back and noticing that there's something they're not saying. People describe this as the calm before they confess, the quiet before everything changes. Let me slow down. One symbolic aspect of this can be watching someone stare out a window while you're talking clearly somewhere else in their mind. They're thinking about you, but they're also thinking about what being with you would mean. Hold on, this feels crucial. Um, I get the impression that this person is realizing that they can't have you and keep living as they are. That if they want this, truly want this, something has to give. You might find they've been scrutinizing everything: their career, their environment, their habits, their connections, their values, not because you asked them to, but because loving you is compelling them to become someone else, someone new. It can seem like when you meet someone who makes you suddenly aware of how much you've been compromised, how much you've let yourself settle. One possible interpretation is that they've awakened some part of you that was asleep, a desire for more, a picture of a life you didn't realize you wanted until you met them. Some individuals note that true love doesn't only make you want the person, it makes you want to step up to meet them, to earn what they're asking of you. Let's breathe for a second. You might recognize this if this person has been asking you questions lately. Fundamental questions about your company, your aspirations, your future, your love, your certainty, not just the casual kind, but as if they're collecting data, creating a graphic, trying to see if their life will line up with yours. You can feel as if they're interviewing you without you realizing it. One poetic interpretation might be someone inquiring, would you be willing to move to a different country? Or how do you feel about marriage? Or can people really change? And you're answering like it's nothing, but they're listening, like their whole future hinges on your response, because perhaps it does. I have a feeling that this individual is fighting the fear, truly feeling the fear, not of loving you, the fear of inadequacy, the fear that not matter how much they change, it still isn't going to work out. You might find they've been tracking you, learning you, trying to figure out what you desire, what you deserve, and then comparing themselves to that and wondering, is that me? Can I be like that? Some describe this as a moment when the passion turns into something more serious. When you stop thinking, I desire you, and start thinking, I want to spend my life with you. It can be like standing at the edge of a real thing, something that costs something, and deciding if you're willing to take the risk. Let me slow down here. One possibility is that this individual might be working through limitations. Maybe they're in a job they detest, but it pays. Maybe they're in a city that doesn't quite fit, but they know it. Maybe they have routines that are familiar but dull. And now you've come into their life. And all that dull dread feels unbearable. You might recognize this if they've complained before about how much they dislike something, how they want more out of life, but they haven't outright said that you're the reason everything's changing. Not yet. It can seem like observing someone come back to life, come to the realization that they've been sleepwalking through their days. One metaphor here could be being with them while they speak about how different they want to become, and being able to tell that the whole topic is about you without you even having to say your name. Hold on. This feels so huge. I get the impression that some of you will be surprised when this person finally expresses what they've been thinking, because they've been acting like they don't mind, as if they don't care, as if you're nothing to them. But secretly, they've been planning, shifting, getting ready. You might find when they do speak that it's not a normal talk. It's going to be big. Some folks observe that when someone is dedicated to you, they don't just talk feelings, they talk timelines and what has to happen before this can actually work. You might feel like going from I like you to I've been checking out apartments in your city nearly immediately and be caught off guard. One symbolic interpretation is that this individual has been quietly constructing a life that includes you. Maybe they've been scoping out careers in your area. Maybe they've been trying to decide whether they should pursue a college education again so that they can finally do what they love. Maybe they've been contemplating resigning from something that's been holding them back. Let's stay here. You might acknowledge that you didn't ask for any of this. You didn't pressure, you didn't insist, but your existence alone has made them crave more. It can seem like when you spend time with someone so stable, so focused, so whole, that you become aware of how incomplete and dim your own life is. One symbolic figure of speech might be observing them. Address a challenge with patience, composure, clear intent, and processing. Wow, I want to be like that. I want someone to be proud of me. I'm not sure why, but I get the idea that this individual recognizes you as an improvement, not in a shallow way, but because being around you would cause them to step up, to become more, to grow, to stop hiding behind excuses. Some people call this meeting someone who inspires the best in you, not because they ask it of you, but because they motivate it. You might notice that they've begun making minor changes, working more often, shopping differently, making the time to do things for themselves. It can seem like they're preparing, becoming someone worthy of the love they seek. You might interpret this as them knowing deep down that they can't approach you half-hearted, that they can't leave things as they are. If they want you, they need to be different. Let me slow down. You might notice this if this individual has been revealing alternate facets of themselves over time, more vulnerable, more available, more reliable, as if they have been testing themselves against the idea of you, that they can be more than they were. Some people realize that when you prepare to give everything to someone, you start seeing their best a little sooner, showing up early, keeping their word, making your sleep a little easier. That's not by accident. That's mindful. Hold on. This is significant. Really significant. I'm getting the hunch that this person's afraid you can't see them the same anymore. That while they're over here reinventing their entire world for you, you're right here doing you. You might find that they're looking for clues from you, clues that you're interested, clues that you'd like to try this out, clues that this is not a one-way street. It can seem like both of you waiting for the other to make a bold move. Both terrified the other is going to miss the moment. Some folks talk about this as the most agonizing kind of attraction because it's there. The chemistry, the pull, the anticipation, but one or both of you haven't confessed yet. One thought can be the other is waiting for a sign. Some sign that you won't bash in, though, with heartbreak. That you want the same thing so much that there's no room for doubt. Let's take a second. You might notice this if you've been reserved with them, playing it safe, holding back your emotions, and they've been doing the same. It might seem like you could sit in that silence forever and nothing might happen. One image here can be both of you standing close, sensing the pull, and neither of you closing the space, because letting loose would mean acknowledging this matters. I can feel in February something is about to move, that one of you will finally say something, that the talk will transition from pleasant to, excuse me, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Some people have observed that whenever someone is serious, they tend to be intimate in odd corners, like driving at 2 inches the morning, inside jokes, during text. You might find that when they finally open up, it will feel both shocking and obvious. It can seem like finally hearing them say what they were thinking all along. One way to interpret this can be that they've been preparing for this, everything in your time together, everything in their own, everything has been leading up to this moment. Take a deep breath. No matter what they disclose to you, whether they say they're going to get closer to you, leave their job, break up their old routine, or now just confess how in love they are, you decide what to think about that. You decide if you are at all prepared for that amount of commitment. If you desire the love they have to offer, if their interest in reshaping their life for you is enough to excite or scare you. Some experience feeling that when someone can change their entire existence for you, that it's true love. Others find it is too much. Both are fair. It can feel like being handed a precious weight at the same time. One image here is that you realize you can't burn from within and that someone loves you so much they'll do it for you. And you have to sit with that choice. Let me slow down. You might remember that you got your own pursuits. You have your own visions. You came into this life with a plan. And their desire to change doesn't force you to rush toward the same goal. It can seem like you're being seen, adored, chosen number, and all of that can still leave you feeling free and relaxed.